Sometimes the world watches the end, the studio towers, the red carpet, the glory, and thinks that's where the story began. But Tyler Perry's story began far from any spotlight, in the silence of a child who hurt, a man who had nothing but faith, and a dream that wouldn't die. Today, we don't just tell you his life. We let you hear his voice, understand his convictions, and feel how his own words became the backbone of his survival. He often says, "Own your stuff, own your business, own your way," said during his B2 Ultimate Icon Award speech. That phrase isn't a tagline, it's a manifesto. He means that no one else should hold the keys to your destiny. If you want control over your life, you must take ownership of your dreams, your decisions, your failures. It's not about asking permission. It's about building something so real that no one can take it from you. He has also declared, "It doesn't matter if 1,000,000 people tell you what you can't do. If you get one yes from God, that's all you need." In his voice, you hear the echo of every no he absorbed, from theater managers, critics, and rejection slips. But he held on to one inner yes, the belief that God, or his own spirit, had whispered this was possible. That single yes carried him through storms most people never saw. Another of his guiding truths: while you're fighting for a seat at the table, I'll be building my own. It's not resentment, it's sovereignty. It's saying, I won't sit only on your terms. I will build my own platform, one that honors me, my people, my vision. That's how Tyler Perry would go on to create a media empire that doesn't depend on others' gates being open. And again, the key to life when it gets tough is to keep moving. Just keep moving. Movement becomes hope. Every step, however small, is testimony that you are not frozen by your pain. That mantra sustained him through darkness. So when you hear Tyler's words like "own your way" or "keep moving," they're not polished slogans. They are scars and oaths fused together. And they anchor this story, where the voice matches the struggle. Tyler Perry's childhood was a cage he had to escape. He grew up in New Orleans, where abuse and fear were part of the walls he lived inside. He has spoken about those days with rawness, the kind of memory that doesn't fade. That hurt was not his identity, but it shaped his resolve. It taught him that silence contains power, that even when your voice is broken, your narrative still belongs to you. As a young man, when doors refused to open, he began writing. He penned letters to the universe, letters to himself. He rehearsed scenes in his head. He believed that one day he'd stare back at the world through a microphone, telling stories that heal. In one interview, reflecting on closed doors, Tyler said, "I thank God for closed doors." He meant that every rejection rerouted him toward something bigger. Every no was part of the architecture of his faith. With his limited savings, he staged "I Know I've Been Changed," a play centered on child abuse, redemption, and faith. That play would become his first public voice, raw, unfiltered, and brave. Early runs flopped. Few came. Money vanished. He lived between motel rooms and cars. There were nights when sleep itself felt like a luxury. But the dream whispered louder than the pain. Every time the world told him he couldn't, Tyler leaned deeper into his own narrative. He asked, what if I'm not trying to please them? What if I just refuse to stop? That mindset resonates in his words. Everyone can relate to love, hurt, pain, learning how to forgive, needing to get over, needing the power of God in their life. He never paints himself as exceptional, just someone willing to go where others won't. Then Madea was born, not from a market study or a formula, but from memory and necessity. He created her with authenticity, humor, and grit. The grandma who cusses, prays, scolds, and loves. She carried his stories into living rooms across America. Through her, he gave voice to strength, brokenness, and forgiveness. His art was never meant to hide his past. It was meant to transmute it. As his plays gained an audience, critics tried to box him. They tried to diminish him, but Tyler didn't respond with anger. He responded with volume. He told studios, "I'm going to make my own." That's where he lived his quote about owning your way. He built his own studio, Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta, turning a former Confederate Army base into a symbol of rebirth. He didn't just climb, he transformed the ground beneath his feet. Today, that studio hosts productions for Netflix, HBO, and others, but it also gives space to voices often muted. That's ownership in practice, not just owning property, but owning opportunity, narrative, and legacy. In interviews, he emphasizes strategy, discipline, and intent. He says, focus on one thing, make it your priority, and stick with it no matter what. It's a radical discipline in a world of distractions. He also shares deeper lessons about resentment and forgiveness. It's not an easy journey to get to a place where you forgive people, but it is such a powerful place because it frees you. For Tyler, forgiving was not forgetting. It was reclaiming his peace, not letting past hurts imprison his future. In his voice you hear the full arc: the child who was hurt, the man who learned to speak truth, the artist who turned everything he felt into something others could lean into. He never hides his stains, he carries them like medals, because they remind him where he came from and what he's fighting for. From homelessness to billionaire status, from failing plays to a media empire, that journey could be hollow if detached from heart. But Tyler's philosophy ensures it's not. His words and experiences inform each scene. They give energy and direction. And as you watch this story, you feel the weight of every decision that built his world. His story becomes yours when you realize that your dreams are not determined by your past. You can own them. You can build your way. You can forgive and still step forward. You can transform pain into power. So listen to Tyler's words. Let them burn into you. Let them call you to own your path, to speak your truth, and to refuse to wait for permission. Let his life show you that success doesn't erase struggle. It honors it. And when life tells you you can't, let his journey whisper, watch me.